previous relationship as well.
How am I going to get over this curve?
We're both the same age, I think.
Welcome everybody to Fatherhood Unfiltered. My name's Jamie.
I'm Simon, and this is our first podcast. And essentially, through these podcasts, we're talking about mental health. We're talking about being a father, and it's something that we've wanted to do for a while. Everyone struggles now and again, some more than others, and especially in this time in our lives, especially things coming up a bit more that maybe can help people just by talking about them, so people can listen and hopefully make their journey a bit easier.
Absolutely. I'm 31 years old. I've got 2 kids. I am married. Married to not them, not the kid's mother. It was a previous relationship. And I'm pretty happy. I've been with my wife now for just over 4 years. Married 4 months in 2 days, which is really exciting. People ask me all the time, what's it like to be a married man? Don't know. Just an extra ring on your finger, innit? But yeah, no, I'm really happy. It's taken a long time to get there, and I've had my challenges along the way. And my kids are fairly young, and I'm still learning, still adapting to fatherhood. It's not something that you can just pick up overnight.
It always changes, doesn't it?
100%. They grow up, and obviously they have their own different chapters as well. Obviously, as a child, as a toddler, nursery, school, and it's forever changing as the time goes on. So
for me, I've got a 3-year-old. We're both the same age, I think, aren't we? I don't know how old I am.
You're slightly older.
Yeah. Am I?
You are.
Am I?
Yeah, you are. What do you mean? Am I?
We're in the same year at school.
You could be slightly older based on were you born on the same day as me? Like...
Yeah, but by a couple of months maybe. Not
well,
like,
yeah, you're still slightly older though, aren't you? I get your.
Yeah, all right. Anyway, my daughter's from a previous relationship as well. So I think a lot of the time our chats have been, I don't know, it's been challenging sometimes for both of us, and I think we've connected over those things as well. And I know you've helped me through some stuff. I don't know if I have helped you, but I've always.
It goes both ways, and obviously you definitely called out, obviously, wanting to chat about yourself more, but we're always learning off each other. You may not think that I am, but how you're dealing with things, and especially mental health side of things, I'm always learning on that side of things. So 100% we're learning off each other when we have those chats. Definitely.
Yeah, it's good to know. I mean, obviously everyone's got their own scenarios within what might seem the same problem or a similar problem. And yeah, I mean, outside of that, I've been a musician for, I don't know, 10, 15 years now.
How's that going?
Been lucky. Yeah, really good. Up in the past, I've been lucky enough to go around Europe on tours with the previous band, which was amazing.
Any big names that you've been able to play with or play in front of? Or?
Ironically, the biggest band that I was going to play with, the gig got cancelled because of COVID. We were going to play with, I think, Birmingham Arena with a band called The Levelers.
All right, yeah.
But COVID happened, and then for, ironically, mental health reasons, I left the band before the end of COVID. So yeah, it was a bit of a shame in that respect, but I am in another band now, and we've got an album actually.
Ooh.
Yeah, releasing the album tomorrow.
Really? Tomorrow?
Yeah. Come around
What's it
quick.
on? Is it Spotify? Is it like
Yeah,
Spotify?
Spotify. Yeah.
What's it called?
Yeah, it's called Witch.
Which?
WYTH. Yeah. Name of the band is self-titled. So.
What kind of genre do you do?
70s ethereal indie rock kind of thing. It's a bit like Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, okay,
kind of style.
Oh, amazing.
It's going well. We've got some good backing already. We've got a sing deal with a company in Hollywood to try and get us on films and TV and all that stuff. As in the music, not us. We're not actors.
That's mad. Doesn't matter. That's mad.
Yeah. So hopefully, we'll get some good exposure from that. So yeah, I mean that's going really well.
But that's not your main job though, is it? That's kind of like a hobby, one that you want to kind of pursue later on in life. Like that's not your main job, but wow, that's impressive. What is your main job?
Yeah. There's always been something that I've wanted to do since I was a kid. So if I can end up one day doing it full time, then obviously that'd be great. But yeah, as a main job, I can't go into too much detail.
You can tell us what you kind of do to like an overview kind of thing, can't you?
Yeah. So, I can briefly. So, I work with young adults who are in care, basically. So I'm a support worker. So a lot of that is based around mental health and how they process what they've been through at quite a difficult age as well. Sometimes trauma can happen at any time, and it's sort of down to your brain as to when those feelings come up and how severe they are. For me, for example, I tend to bury an emotion. If something really bad happened today, it wouldn't affect me. Initially I'd be like, that's really horrible. But then
that's what
I won't
most
actually
men do, don't they? That they bury it.
Yeah, but I won't actually process that for years sometimes. And that's the same with anyone, especially as if something happens to you as a child, you might not realise the severity of it or the actual meaning of it until your brain develops enough for you to understand that. And even at that point, you might not want to deal with it, so you keep it inside and you don't, let those emotions out. So yeah, that's essentially a little overview of me. Going into a lot of different little avenues on that, but
no, that's good. It's good to see, and obviously good to understand obviously where your background is, and obviously you do, or you have previously gone through mental health situations yourself, so to know that you're supporting other people with that in your day-to-day job must be challenging, but also at the same time must have that like kind of reward at the end of it, knowing that you can help someone.
I mean it's for me it's like equally hard as it is rewarding. So those emotions can sometimes be a lot deeper, can be really hard sometimes, but then it can be really, really rewarding. And it's just, it's, you have to be able to deal with those things and put your own emotions to the side. And sometimes issues are a lot closer to home for some people than others working in that industry. So you've got to be very aware, very self-aware of who you are, what you've been through, and what your triggers are. So if something comes up, you need to either know how to deal with it on the spot and take yourself out of it affecting you, and you've got to remember why you're there and what you're focusing on. And there's never been a more relevant job to say, well, they didn't say it, but where you have to leave your baggage by the door and not take it into work, whatever that is, whether it's whether you've had an argument with a friend or a partner on the way in, or you're thinking a lot about something that happened to you that was quite serious, or a friend that was quite serious, and you've got to learn to not take that into work with you.
It's good self-control, which is hard to come by nowadays, especially. Yeah.
I mean, we're all human as well, and sometimes that is going to happen, and it is going to become really raw in a moment, and it's just about knowing what you can say to that person. But yeah, it's a great job. I absolutely love it.
Good.
And ultimately, I wanted to do something that helps people. Like before I was building campers. Absolutely loved that job. It was brilliant.
Another thing that you wanted to do as well.
Yeah. I wanted to do that for the rest of my life, but obviously that wasn't the path for me. Things happened at the company, and I actually became quite unwell around that time as well. So I ended up looking for something else that could where I could actually have time off. With having little one on weekends, working 5 days a week, it just wore me down after nearly a year of doing it. So, sorry, that's
good.
That's basically me.
We kind of want to get an understanding of exactly you and your background. So, no, that's good. Yeah, that's good. For myself, I had none of it's anywhere near close to what you do. When I first had a child, I worked in retail. I was a manager at a fairly big electronic store. And over the years, as obviously I was young, it was my first ever job. I kind of put a career first, and then I found out I was having a child, and I think it was probably a year in to having my son. So he was around just past 1, I believe. I kind of looked at this in myself, and I thought, you know what, I don't get Christmases off. Like, I get 1 day off as retail is, and I was like, I want to spend time with my family. So I didn't really have any weekends. I may have had 1 weekend off if I was lucky, and it was like normally 6 days a week being a manager, because you took stuff home. So I never really had time with the family apart from that 1 day off. And let's be honest, as a newborn, it's not enough, or a toddler, that's not enough. So I went into another job, went into security, and it was shift work, and I thought, oh, do you know what, this is going to be good, get 3 to 4 days off every other week, and I got weekends off, but I did work weekends as well. And I did that for a few years, and it was one of the easiest jobs ever, absolutely. But again, we then fell pregnant, and I was having a daughter, and financially things were difficult. Their mum was looking after the kids. I was at work, and again, this was through COVID. COVID probably struck halfway through me being there, and that was for me, that didn't change anything. COVID didn't affect me. I was a frontline worker, so I was going to work. I was the one that was going shopping, because you had to have this piece of paper. I don't know what it was like for you, but I had to have this piece of paper to say I was a frontline worker. So if I ever got pulled over by the police or whoever, any authority, I could show them that, and then I get on with my day. But COVID definitely changed the world, and even to the way we adapt things now, we take elements of COVID with us. But yeah, I was on shift, and again, like I said, financially it affected us. We had to earn the income a certain amount, and the only way that we could do that was I was working overtime, and the way our shifts work was I got 3 or 4 days off. Now, 2 out of the 3 and 3 out of the 4 shifts, I did overtime. Most of the time they were nights, and it took a toll on me. And I think, no one, I don't think anyone ever knew this, but at that point, as a man and as a father, when you have a family, you have bills to pay, you have a job, all these normal responsibilities that everybody has to have on a day-to-day basis. That's probably when it affected me the most. And I thought, how am I going to get over this curve? It just seems to be going up and up and up, and I'm not getting any closer. And probably at that point was the hardest period of time. And I'm thinking, I just don't know what to do. I don't know how long that went on for. I don't think it was long, because again, it was something new to me, and for me, I just thought, shrug it off. Like, for me, there wasn't any mental health. I didn't think this was mental health. This was just me having a problem, and I needed to solve it. And yeah, that went on for a little while, not too long, I don't think. And then I was fortunate to see an opening, because I was talking to my dad, and the type of shift pattern I was on and not getting any shift pay, for me was normal because it was my first ever job. But for my dad, he was like, no, that's not normal. Like, your shift pattern is ridiculous. You don't get any additional pay for working unsociable hours. It's just your bog standard pay, which back then, I guess, I thought was not too bad. And there was an opening at this other place where my dad works, and he said, look, let me hand him your CV. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I got a call to say, look, we want to invite you into an interview. I was like, perfect, brilliant, yeah, sure. When? Well, conveniently, this was on a Monday after my shift. I was on nights, so I literally finished the night shift. I think it was at 9, 10 o'clock. I finished my night shift, went home, picked up the family, went to my dad's because obviously he worked there. He was like, you need a pass to get in. He said, I'll take you. I was like, yeah, cool, that's fine. So I got there, go up there, have my interview, and I've never been great with interviews, but I had another interview at another job, which would have been fantastic, but financially at the time, for about 6 months, I wouldn't have been able to afford it because it was a drop in pay up until you do all your training, and then it bumps up massively.
Yeah.
But it was that 6 months, as much as it was going to be fantastic, my job as a father was to provide, and I wouldn't have been able to provide. So I said no to that one. But that interview and this one, I don't know what it was. I just had this spark of confidence. So I was relaxed. I wasn't nervous. They fired out all the questions. And all I remember, one of the main things I remember was 2 things. One, my eyes were burning. I've been up for 24 hours. Well, 11 o'clock the previous day. So I've been up for well over 24 hours now. And I go into the interview, they interview me, and they tell me the shift pattern. And bearing in mind, I worked in retail, so I worked 6 days a week, maybe sometimes 7, because obviously it would be busy over like Black Friday or Christmas. I then go into this role where I'm at the security place, and I'm working 9 days every week before my day off. And then they tell me this shift pattern, and this shift pattern just blew my mind. I work on average 10 days a month. The rotation is like 6 weeks. So I work 14 days every six weeks. And they went, what would you do with the time off? And I went, I could not tell you. I wouldn't know, because socially, I didn't have a social life. This was still in COVID. So you couldn't do anything apart from see the people in your bubble, which for me was my family, my 2 kids and my other half at the time. I just got into gaming, so I guess that's what I'd be doing. But obviously, this was an opportunity for me to spend time with my family, see my kids, because it felt like my kids didn't know me. They'd always go up to their mum, which again was, I guess, normal. Being a mum, staying at home, seeing obviously the kids all the time, and then from a dad always going to work. And this was my opportunity to bond. And yeah, for me, it was perfect. I was like, yeah, fantastic. And I remember it was we lived near Four Kingdoms, which is like a little adventure, like a mini thought park for like little kids and such. And there was a cafe opposite it, and we liked it. It had a little play area for the kids. And I was there. Well, we were all there. I think I had a baguette, and I had a call. I was like, "What's this?" I don't normally answer calls, like unknown calls, but I took it, and it was HR. It was a good thing, not a bad thing, just to clarify. And yeah, they said, you've got the job. And I remember I was so buzzing. I don't actually remember the conversation, but I guess it was in a toilet outside, like an outbuilding. And I got off the phone, looked in the mirror, and I screamed out of excitement. It was something else, because this is an opportunity now for me to get over that curve that I've been struggling to get over for a short period of time, and where I never thought I'd see that horizon effectively. When I looked in that mirror and I got that job, I felt that was it. I can now see it, and I guess that's where it then changed for me. Had a new job. I was there for a while. Things were different in a relationship, and they weren't always fantastic at all. We had our struggles, and I think a year later, well, not long actually, I then split with my ex, or my partner at the time, and again, I guess from that point onwards, I noticed a difference in myself. Um, there was a struggle. It was a major struggle for the first 18 months. It was hard because it wasn't easy to co-parent. And my daughter at the time was, I believe she was, what year was that? She was 1, coming up to 2. So she wasn't in nursery. My boy was just in nursery. Living with my parents. Still having bills to pay. I was still paying for a house I wasn't living in for a period of time, for a couple of months after. It was a strain, and from that on, there was about 3 months where it was again really difficult. I wouldn't see the kids too much because they were either with their mum or my parents were looking after them, because I was still having to do nights. Um, I did double shifts, so I worked at both locations because I hadn't left for about a year after I got this new job. I didn't leave the other job. I would still do a bit of shift on that one. So where I would do like 3 nights on my new shift pattern, I would do 1 or 2 before and 1 or 2 after. So, and I still had to get rid of a house, which I did all myself. I had to clean, I had to repaint, I had to move everything. It was difficult. I remember there was 1 or 2 shifts where I would finish a night shift at the the old job, go straight to the house, paint, do what I need to do, and then go back. So I didn't see the kids, I didn't sleep, and I was still on a night shift, and I was awake for 48 hours to 50 hours, just trying to make sure I can get rid of this house, because there was a time limit. I was doing it myself. I had help moving stuff out. I couldn't have done that without support from my dad and someone else. Um, it was difficult, but that's now in the past, and I'm grateful for all the experiences that I've experienced, because that's made me who I am. And now I'm as happy as I can ever be, mate. I'm married to a beautiful, so caring. She showed me what love is all about. I've got 2 beautiful kids which are now in school. My youngest is in her second year. Mate, I'm over the moon. I'm absolutely over the moon. So yeah,
Seems
I'm
like
doing better now.
everything's now sort of settled.
Mm.
A big sort of big mountain, like just building up, building up, building up, and then you're like, right, this needs to change.
100%.
And obviously,
Yeah, for those that were in that position where I was, where you're on this curve and you didn't know you were on the curve, you just felt like you said, you're on this mountain and just keep going higher and higher, and you couldn't see the end. Just pursue it. It's not easy. You don't know when it will be. It might be a week, it might be a month, it might be a year, it might be 10 years. I don't know. It's all depending on the individuals, but you'll get there without a shadow of a doubt, and you need to rely on the people around you. And
yeah,
I have the
I
support
think
from
I've
my
learned
family.
that.
So.
I think I've learned that quite a lot in the last sort of year or so. Obviously, in detail, everything that's been going on, and I'm someone who doesn't find it very easy to open up and talk about stuff. But since I have started doing that a bit more not, to the extent that I probably should or want to.
You're much better though now, 100%.
Yeah,
If I look
much
back
better.
to 3 years ago, you wouldn't talk, you would struggle, and if I would ask you a little bit of a difficult question, there'd be silence. Now, I'm not saying that you find it easy, but I can have that conversation with you. But I can have that conversation with you, and your communication skills are much better. Like, that was the one downfall that you had, and that would maybe affect part of your relationship with your partner, your previous partner. But now, mate, we can talk, like, and you can get off your chest. It may not be easy, without a shadow of a doubt, and listening to the calls, it's not. But yeah, you can definitely talk now, and it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has been difficult to just, I don't know what the fear is, when I know that I need to talk about it and get something out of my head, but I don't know, for me, like, I know exactly what I want to say, and then I sort of say it in my head, and I'm like, oh, what if they say this, then what would I say about that? And then I just go into this massive, like, spiral in my head.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm just sat there, like, staring at a wall. It's like internally, my head's going around so many different things, so many different scenarios.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for some reason, it's just like, nah, you can't say anything now. You're done. And it's just like, because there's this fight, flight, or freeze scenario that comes up, like in the mental health world. So you'd either retaliate to someone if they say something you don't like, offensive, or if they bring up a subject you don't want to talk about, etc., something like that. You either fight back, you either just ignore them and walk off, which is flight, or you freeze. And I'm always doing the freeze thing in that situation. If something difficult comes up, whoever it is, really, my brain's like, nope.
Yeah.
And it's it's really difficult because my background, I know how to help people with that.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but I don't know how to help myself with it.
It's always the case, though, isn't it? Whether it's
Really,
mental health or relationships, like, you might be really good at helping someone with a relationship, but you're terrible within yourself, and it's a similar situation for you for mental health.
Yeah. Then it's part of it. I'm waiting to get a ADHD assessment as well, which a lot of these symptoms that I get where I can't talk or I struggle to express myself, and how I feel, and the ways that I think, and the struggles that I have with quite a lot, like, I don't know, like money. I used to have quite a big issue with budgeting and things like that. And just processing what people say. It's really difficult because I have to be so alert at work, and that doesn't really come up at work because I know what I'm talking about when I am at work. I know how to react in certain situations, even to avoid the things that affect me coming up in that sense. So I've learned how to, if someone was, for whatever reason, if someone shouted at me at work, one of the service users, I know how to react to that in that scenario. And it's happened before, and it's been fine. I've dealt with it well. I've resolved the situation. But then if something happens in my personal life that creates that scenario where someone they don't even need to shout at me. You know, they need to just if they said something that I wasn't comfortable with or felt that my guard went up, it'd be really hard for me to, snap out of that and actually talk to someone. As you know, like we've had it so many times, um, and it's draining. It's really, really, really draining, like emotionally and mentally.
Can't be
And
easy.
no, and it's there's a whole other list of stuff similar to that goes on, and it's just it can be really hard. And I know that there's especially recently in the last few years, there's been a lot of ADHD people being diagnosed with ADHD and who are around our age or older even sometimes. And it's the research developed in such a way that there's different types of ADHD. So you might not have, when we're at school, we both know kids that ran around like idiots, and everyone was like, "Oh, they've got ADHD." Chances are they probably did, but they presented it in a different way. There's different types of it, and you can be very internal, like me. I'm not saying I have it. I don't know. I'm not, officially diagnosed or anything, but I've sat in calls where other people have had ADHD assessments, and they've asked the questions, and I've been like, yeah, 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 and it's just like, wow. And actually, the main thing for that with me was when I actually tried some of the medication. Obviously, not at work or anything. It was, we didn't have. It was me and my ex, or me and my partner at the time. Yeah, my daughter's mum, and she'd been diagnosed with it. And when we were away somewhere, and our little one wasn't with us, like we were talking about it quite a lot. And this was shortly after her assessment, and I kept bringing it up, like, look, something, I need to do something about this because I am.
Remember you telling me on the call?
Could be it, yeah. So I tried some of the meds, and it just completely changed everything. Like, I know people that have done the same thing when they've been given their meds after being diagnosed, and they've just cried because they're like, "Is this what life's supposed to be like?" Because up until that point, whether they're 28, 35, 40, even like 18, you've had 18 years of your life where you've thought the world is one thing, and then you take some medication,
see it from a different point of view,
and everything's just like.
Is there any websites that you kind of know of, or you can get like help people guide them to that they may not know?
What in terms of diagnosis and things like
diagnosis,
that?
Mental health, anything that that you have off the top of your head that we can help and we can put on the screen below.
Yeah, I mean, we'll put some links in the description, but
yeah.
As much as I don't like going to the doctors for various different reasons that I won't go into right now, I luckily now have a really good doctor.
Good.
And I spoke to her about it, and I said, look, this is why I think I've potentially got ADHD. I want to find out if I have, and then go from there. And it is slightly different when you have a young kid because you get fast tracked in some cases. So I did get fast tracked, and that was nearly a year ago now.
Yeah.
But on the NHS, you can be waiting up to 3 or 4 years plus sometimes just to get an appointment for ADHD assessment. So I'd suggest if you do feel like or even if you don't know and you think there isn't something quite right and you want to look into what that could be, there is a lot of information on ADHD in older people online, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on just the NHS website, or just, people's own blogs or opinions or their own thoughts on it. There's so much information online now. So that can give you some good insight as to whether you think it's worth, going to get an assessment.
Yeah. Okay. What have we got to look forward to on the next episode?
What have we got to look forward to on the next episode? I believe we're talking about being parents.
But for now, thank you very much. Thank you for watching Fatherhood Unfiltered.